The best house in New York when it was built. That is what it was considered to be. It being the William K. and Alva Vanderbilt mansion, also known as the Petite Chateau, although it was most definitely anything but petite. Where was it located? The address was 660 Fifth Ave, and it was the northwest corner of West 52nd Street and Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Completed in the year 1882. Back then, Fifth Avenue was an exclusive bastion of residences for New York's wealthiest. The lovely gardens and stoops that we see here adjacent to the buildings were fated to last only a mere 27 years beyond the Petite Chateau's completion date, and that is due to a Fifth Avenue road widening that the city would undertake and complete in 1909, which would cause the stoops and gardens to be removed and replaced by sidewalk, and would replace the sidewalks with street pavement. Would any of this be allowed today? I'm pretty certain the answer would be no. What would you say? Would you please let us know in the comments? This all, of course, was brought about by the increasing introduction of automobiles onto New York City streets. All this, combined with the inexorable encroachment of commercial establishments, spelled the end of this area as an enclave of the exclusive Gilded Age palaces of the super rich. If you are enjoying this video, we'd greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel and smash that like button. Here on Randolph's Rants, we produce content about architecture and places of interest. Today, the white building off to the left and adjacent sidewalk occupy, respectively, the former locations of the Petite Chateau's main facade and stoop. And we can almost breathe in the automobile exhaust fumes as we look at this view of today's widened automobile-clogged Fifth Avenue. Bereft of its Gilded Age magnificence, the Petite Chateau met the wrecking ball in 1926, and the same terrible fate was meted out to practically all of the Petite Chateau's palatial neighbors. This was the dazzling grand staircase in the Petite Chateau, done in cane stone. This striking young lady is Alva Vanderbilt at her housewarming party, which is legendary, which she threw upon the completion of the Petite Chateau. Baronial splendor is what the Petite Chateau's dining hall had. This is a view of the dining hall looking southeast. And it's an especially tragic photo, being taken as it was right before demolition. The Petite Chateau's Fifth Ave facade to the right and West 52nd Street facade to the left, and a guy standing in the street shoveling probably horse manure, which in those days was in no short supply, to be sure. And now for the following question. On these streets, would we prefer horses and horse manure or automobiles? I'm for horses and horse manure. What about you? Will you please let us know in the comments? Several years after the Petite Chateau was completed, an almost identical house was built immediately to the right of it, or in other words, immediately to the north of it, on Fifth Ave, for the son of William K. and Alva Vanderbilt, William K. Vanderbilt Jr. William K. Vanderbilt Jr.'s house would replace those brownstones located towards the right in this photo. And here's a somewhat later photo with the arrow showing William K. Jr.'s house. Incidentally, this photograph shows off to the left an electric street lamp, whereas earlier photographs we've been looking at showed gas street lamps. At the western end of the Petite Chateau's grand hall was the largest room in the house, the banquet or dining hall, illuminated by a large stained glass window done by famed French glass painter and stained glass artist Eugène Oudinot. This is an example of one of his completely mesmerizing works. Oudinot worked with many famous clients, artists, and architects of the day. And some more views of the dining hall. Here are shown the curious yet absolutely wonderful side-by-side double fireplace, perhaps never seen anywhere else in architecture before or since. Luxuriously, a number of the interior walls were of cane stone, a limestone quarried near the town of Caen, France, whereas Indiana limestone was used for the building's exterior. Again, these haunting photographs were taken right before the building's demolition. Thus, all the bare surfaces. Some stained glass windows. Quite charming and functional, at the other end of the dining hall was a musician's loft. Who was the architect? Richard Morris Hunt. This view is a few blocks north of the Petite Chateau on Fifth Ave looking south. The very large house on the right is that of Cornelius Vanderbilt II, William K. Vanderbilt's cousin. Completed the year after the Petite Chateau in 1883, it was also demolished about the same time as the Petite Chateau in 1926 to 27. It was on Fifth Ave between West 57th and West 58th Streets. It was located across West 58th Street from Grand Army Plaza. Both Richard Morris Hunt and George B. Post were involved in the design of this house. This exquisite ink and graphite on tracing paper drawing was done circa 1880 by Hunt for a bay window. Unexcelled beauty and precision. Hunt was the first American to be admitted and trained at the École des Beaux-Arts in France. Hunt's design for the Petite Chateau was the first instance of the Chateauesque style ever being used in America. It received an excellent reception, and its beautiful sky-piercing turrets and roof crestings would be emulated many times in the coming years. An absolutely gorgeous rendering, as one would expect, from Hunt's office of one of the fireplaces in the Petite Chateau. This is watercolor and graphite on cardboard. The Hunt office's fantastic rendering for the supper room at the Petite Chateau. As it turned out, some of the rooms actually wound up getting built differently than what we're seeing in some of these renderings. The magnificent staircase. The stupendous main grand hall. The salon on the Petite Chateau's first floor. One of many firsts for the Petite Chateau, this was the first French-styled paneled room in the United States. The astonishing main entrance. It's been delightful having your company. See you next time on Randolph's Rants.